Nearly there. Okay, so good evening, everybody. It's Alex back again here at the Festival of Startups, our busiest day yet, day 2, week 2, and I'm joined by Laura DiBenedetto, all the way from Maui, I believe, in Hawaii. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. So, thank you everybody for joining us as well. Those of you who've been attending throughout the week, throughout the day, today as well. If it's your first time, we've got a couple of ways you can interact with us during my chat with Laura. If you look at the right-hand side, you've got a chat button towards the bottom, a live chat button. So use the opportunity to comment, ask questions, connect, post up your LinkedIn profile. Would normally be at a live event in person, back when we used to have those things. And you've also got a questions tab, which has been off the Richter scale. It's been crazy busy since we started. So post them in and I will pick out some questions for Laura towards the end. And you've also got down the bottom of your page an emoji button just to keep you occupied. So you can feel free to use all these buttons there. And again, thank you for joining us today. We're going to be finished up by the hour, just to give you a time scale on how we're running. So as I say, I'm joined by Laura DiBenedetto, who is a TEDx speaker, #1 best-selling author of The 6 Habits, and life mastery coach. She teaches how to create the life of our dreams without sacrificing what we love. She's also the founder and CEO of the award-winning marketing company Vision Advertising, located in Boston. She created, built, and ran this enterprise for 19 years before retiring from active involvement in 2018 at the age of just 37, passing the reins to her successor. So she's going to be discussing today with myself a number of the most common challenges that we face when it comes to nurturing, healing, and growing ourselves, as well as the broken world that we're living in. Our habits determine our journey through life for good and for bad. We should all know that. Maybe we don't. And Laura's going to share the habits that determine our journey through life and explain how we can begin to master those habits. So, Laura, first of all, interested to ask your opinion. How long do you think it takes to master a habit? Because I've heard many answers in my life, and I'd like to hear it from an expert like yourself. What's your answer?
I have a scientific approach. So I say this as the CEO of a marketing company. Lots of people want you to believe it's 21 days or 30 days. They're just trying to sell you something. The truth is, it takes on average of 66 days to begin to really solidify a habit. And that's science. And why do I know this? Because I wanted to acquire all the habits I'm going to tell you about. And I was like, can I do it in 21 days? Huh? Not really. So I did some research to find out what the true answer is and learn the science behind it all. And I was really blown away by what I learned. Just how long it takes. I was kind of wondering, I was like, does this take a year or can it really be done in 3 weeks? No, not a year, 66 days, and if you're a little stubborn, maybe slightly longer, but yeah, it's pretty cool to think it's actually under 90, which is nice.
Yeah. So I just did a program from guy in the US called Andy Frisella, called 75 Hard. It's like a mental toughness, but like a physical beneficial physical program as well. So it covers a bunch of things like, reading 10 pages of a book every day, exercising twice a day, drinking a gallon of water a day. And it's interesting what you say. I've done things before, literally read those posts, my 21-day program, my 28-day program. And of course, you end up lapsing back into what you've always done. And fast forward now, 18 months, and I've done 75 Hard a couple of times, and certain of those habits are pretty damn ingrained in me now, I have to say. And it's been a really interesting experience because I've never done anything for that length of time before. And for you, what do you see, having a business owner yourself? Are you originally from Boston, by the way? Because you said that's where your company was. Because I love Boston. It's one of my favorite US cities.
Oh, yeah, same. Yeah, I'm actually from the Boston area. Grew up there. This is my first big move. coming here. I was like, hey, mom, I'm not going to move like next state over. Nah, I'm going to go like all the way across a landmass and an ocean. I'll see you later.
Yeah, thousands of miles,
Yeah.
literally.
hmm
And
So,
and
yeah,
what
quite a bit.
Yeah, and what was the reason for you for doing that then? So I obviously read your bio when you had your company, kind of retired, moved out there. What made you do that move? You've been in that building that company for 18 years, is that right? So it's a fairly lengthy time.
Yeah, yeah. So I was working on it for 19 years, and I just came to a big pinnacle in my career where I was finally hand the reins to somebody else. So I was like, "Ooh, I don't have to live here anymore. I think I'm
Mm.
gonna take this leap and do this big crazy thing I always dreamed of." So, yeah, moving here was the fulfillment of a dream.
Okay, so you've always wanted to do that, and for you,
Yeah.
why Maui? Why Hawaii? Why not, like you say, that like your mum said, why not the next state?
Anyone that's been to the islands is snickering because it's like once you've been here, you know why.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been. Far as
Yeah,
been a bit like LA. Yeah.
it's got a different vibe. It's got a different spirit. You know, it's got the aloha spirit, which I love. Maui in particular is a very like I guess widely known like spiritual hotspot. Um, I mean, I'm such a huge like nature lover. I love being outside and I love being with all the cool animals and beautiful flowers and just colors like just bursting everywhere. I
Mm.
mean, I just think of the word vitality when I think of this place. Everything is alive. It's so wonderful.
And with your business, did you
Except the
did you
economy.
exactly the economy? And with your business, did you, as you say, you had a success to take the reins. So is that still your business, or did you kind of sell that business and refocus your life on what you're doing now, writing a book, etc.?
um, so what I wanted to do was not to really let go of passive income. I still very much enjoy being paid. So I
Mm,
was like, how can I keep the money but not the work? So I decided to give someone really awesome an opportunity to earn her way into 49% ownership of the company over like 7 years.
right.
And she's in like year four. I still have 100% of it, but she's on her way to like earning 49%. And yeah, she's wonderful. This year's been a rough year for us just because of COVID, but she also got cancer. So I've
Well.
had to unretire a little bit.
Mm.
Actually a lot and do a lot of things, but it's been kind of nice to stick my fingers back in there and just be like, ooh, look at all the great stuff you've done. Okay. How can I make it better? How can I take action with these projects that you always wanted to do something with, but you didn't have time for? And how can I take on some things for you while you're out? So I don't know. This has been the year of punting.
And what a year to have to step back in of all the 4 years
Oh
that
God, I
you've done
know.
that. To have to do that, I mean, geez.
I know. Yeah, yeah. We were on the phone this morning and I was like, oh, this year. This has been the year
Indeed.
that really, really tested everything I'm made of and everything I believe in. But I'm excited to see that everything I believe in is true and effective because I think I'd probably be in a loony bin if it wasn't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how if you managed to find some kind of balance within that, or is it been a case of literally jumping straight into the fire and fighting fires and putting out fires, or is the structure held up? Interested to know, like a lot of people here probably.
Yeah,
I know the people we've had, throughout the talks we've been doing since March, the live shows, people at different stages of their journey, people that I've had on who've exited their business, people who and most founders never get to do that. Of course, most founders burn themselves out and never get to see an end result, do they? So yeah, interested to
yeah.
know.
Um, well, it's been kind of a mixed bag. I mean, so my company has always served a lot of restaurants. Restaurants have been severely affected by COVID. So, um, we've managed to sell a bunch, which is
Mhm.
great, but we also lost a bunch. We just lost some of our clients, and it's not like they don't want to do business with us. They can't even pay their rent. So
Yeah.
what do they need a marketing company for? Like, they can't even open. And like, I mean, I just think of like this one sushi place that we were representing for a long time. I remember going to visit them because they picked the most tragic location to put their business, but it happened to be near my home and they offered delivery so selfishly. I was like, hi, hello. You need marketing because I need to make sure you stay in business forever so you can serve me.
Yeah.
But so they became a client, and oh, that one really broke my heart, just to see their business go kind of go sideways and start to like disintegrate, because I saw it was just a husband and wife, and like I saw, their kids were always in the restaurant, and you know
Mm,
I hate seeing family businesses suffer like that. And they're, a sushi place, it's highly perishable, and it was one of the best places in the city, like
yeah.
absolutely impeccable quality. And you can't do that when you get one customer a day. You can't do sushi. You just can't. And it's supposed to be fresh, not frozen.
Mm,
So it just became like one of those things. But, we had a lot of clients. They're like, okay, we need ideas. Okay, cool. So we really get to flex a lot of our business strategy muscles, which I've always loved doing.
mm,
But other clients, they're like, oh, we got a COVID case in one of our locations. What do we do? Okay. Hey, we need ideas for new services to offer. Okay. And then, yeah, there were a few fires to put out, but honestly, I was surprised at how little fires there were to put out. The only thing that probably really just threw me for a loop was we actually had a client fire us, not because of the COVID, but because my successor had the audacity to go and get cancer and was not there to kiss his ass the entire time. I was like,
ouch.
you're going to burn in hell on a rotisserie, sir. Okay. Like, you have no soul. Like, you can't give her a minute and give me a chance. Like, give me a break. Like,
Yeah.
the world is on fire right now. Like, no, you have no soul. So, but mostly, like, a lot of our clients have actually, they've seen how valuable we really are, because we've like, I put like a moratorium on all billing for any sort of like help me calls. Like, you
Mm,
need me, I'm here. Text me any hour of the day, as long as my eyeballs are open. I got you. I'll help you. Because like, these clients are like family to us. We love them very much, and we like, we know who their kids are, and like, we hang out there when they're, little kids are at the coloring, table, like in the back with some of these places, and other ones like they're trying to help dad retire, and like all these things. And we have companies of like different size, but they're all just kind of like different versions of family. And to be able to help them in such a profound way has actually been one of the cool parts. I just wish that I didn't have to.
yeah. And did you feel, um, a little detached from it because you weren't physically there yourself, or have you found that, given the technology that we're speaking on here, and doesn't seem to be a delay or anything, it's like pretty seamless at the touch wood, that you felt able to dip in and get your hands dirty again, so to speak, quite easily?
Yeah, actually, and that's the cool thing about things like FaceTime, and like Zoom. Like, I mean, most of my clients never really saw me in person that much anyway, because, I would be at my office, and if you need something, just call me.
Mm,
But, the thing that was kind of cool was everybody was really flexible, and I would just, call, hey, you got a minute? Sure. And we'd just talk just like old times. The only time it was really complicated is when, like right now, there's a 5-hour time difference between Maui and Boston, but regularly, like over the summer, it's 6. So it's like, if you have a problem at noon, I'm still sleeping. You got to wait a
yeah.
little bit. That's the part where I felt detached, more the time zone than anything else. But again, everybody's pretty cool about it. So I'm grateful. Except for that one
Yeah.
guy. He sucks.
Yeah, you are. You're always going to get the one, aren't you? But
I
I have,
know. There's always one.
I've got the image of the rotisserie in my head. So,
Yeah, just turning slowly. Satan is like,
oh man, yeah, we've been watching from afar, like the U.S. election and the trials and tribulations of the U.S. The U.S.'s great leader, so to speak, over. Been very
a fun
interesting.
time. You know, you ever like you ever see that, like there's a little meme on the internet now where it's just like at one point in like history class in like 8th grade, you're like, wow, I wonder if I'm going to live through a period in history. God, that'd be so interesting. And now everybody's like, no, I was just kidding. No,
Exactly.
I don't want to cancel free trial. No.
Very true. Very true. And for you then, what's I totally understand the move, why you made that, and a lot of people would have always harbored the desire to write a book as well, do something completely different for what they're known for. Where did that desire come from? Have you always harbored that ambition yourself to write a book? Where did that desire, inspiration come from, and how has the whole process turned out for you?
That's an interesting question. So I think I was an only child, raised as one. I have a half brother, but he's like 15 years older, so it kind of doesn't count. I have a sibling and I'm an only child. It's both. But I remember being that nerdy little kid all by myself, like, I'm going to write a book, right? I'd write a paragraph and be like, well, I'm done. I didn't think I'd actually do it. So it wasn't this big burning desire to write a book, because I even struggle to write blogs because I can't sit still long enough. But I was so like burned out because I did what you talked about a few minutes ago. I worked so hard for so many years chasing all the commercial success and, chasing all these highs from, oh boy, I made a sale. Oh boy, I got a boat. Oh boy, I got the big house. Yay. New purchases. Woohoo. But they're fleeting, right? So I was constantly on this hamster wheel of just chasing highs that don't last. And then I just got really burnt out. So when I handed the reins over, then I'm just sitting there and I'm like looking around at my big pile of stuff and I'm just like, well, that didn't work. I just, I just felt hollow and empty. And I wanted to figure out like, well, what do happy people have in common and how can I be happy too? Because whatever I was doing before is clearly not it. So I started doing this research project because I'm an entrepreneur and that's what we do. We're like, ooh, I see a problem. Let me solve it. So I started like just studying people, their behavior, attitude, including my own, and just noticing patterns. And I noticed that happy things are actually the result of being a happy person. Like me moving to Maui, I moved here because I got happy. Maui didn't make me happy. Happiness is who you are, not where you are. And I also noticed that like through all the research and everything that I compiled, including looking at all the books and things that I'd ever read and the programs I'd ever participated in, it's like, oh, the happiest people, it's not that they have morning rituals or drinking celery juice or a gallon of water. I mean, I'd spend my whole day in the bathroom if I did that. But like, like those are great things, but it's actually why we do those things. It's the internal drive. And it turns out the happiest people have 6 core thought patterns in common. And these are mental habits. So that's when I started doing the research to be like, okay, well, if these are mental habits and this is how we actually interact with these things, just like interact with life and ourselves and moment to moment, how do we actually build the habit? And that's the question you first asked me, like all about like habits. I was like, well, how do we actually acquire a habit? So I was like, well, you have to, it's just really, force yourself to do it, but for a period of time. How long is the period of time? You have to get past the marketing crap and get to the truth of it, which is 66-ish days, right? So I built this whole 90-day thing for myself. I was like, all right, Laura, you're going to be happy, damn it. For real. So, yeah, so I just started experimenting and testing things out, and it wasn't perfect right away, but I started like tweaking and fiddling with my little formula, and turns out the habits were the right things, but the method of like actually ingraining them into my brain was not really right away. But I got it right, and now I made it. So I made myself my very best version of me. Then friends started doing it. Then like clients started doing it. The book actually came from, this is a very long answer to a short question, but the book came from a desire to share this incredible feeling of, oh my God, this is amazing with other people, because I was like, I went from like, always just like negative and, poor me and victim to, God, life is good. I can finally stop wearing my shoulders for earrings, and I can just be nice, and I can be happy, and I can be like the leader I always wanted to be. And look at me, I'm moving to Maui, and I'm following my dreams, and I really love who I am, and I have more energy, and I sleep great. My anxiety went away, and I'm healthier. Oh my God, I have to share this with people. So, yeah, when I retired, I was not like, oh boy, I can't wait to do more work.
Yeah.
No, I was not thinking that at all. I just wanted to be happy. But once I got happy, I got this incredible surge of energy. And I was like, I can do this. I can do this. I'm going to write a few paragraphs. Well, a few paragraphs turned into several hundred, words, several thousand words. And yeah, then I was like, you know what? I feel like I have an obligation to share this with people because it's not a series of rituals or things. And if you ever pick up like a self-help book, pick one, they always have these things and ideals that they want you to hold to and to embody. And there's a reason why we don't. And I was able to actually get to the genesis of why we don't and actually solve it. So I wanted to be able to pick up any book at any time ever, or go to any Tony Robbins thing or anybody else thing, or no matter what it is, and be able to take actionable steps forward with it without me being solidly in my own way. And when we change our mental habits, that's when you can pick up any book and be like, cool, I can do this. Oh, I can take action on this. Oh yeah, I can start a business. Oh, I can move. Yeah, I can do this. It's like, it's insane.
And what was who did you, first of all, who did you initially share it with? Was it like close family, best friends?
Yeah, it was my best friends. It was the people that are fully acquainted with me and my big ideas and all my shenanigans. And when I say, hey, do this thing that I'm really excited about, but I have no idea if it works, want to try it? They'll be like, okay, Laura, sure.
What's your man?
I love them. They're so good. I mean, they got a lot out of it, but like, yeah, we've gone down some hairy roads where I'm like, hey, try this thing, or like, have this cupcake. I made it. It's great. No, it's not great. No.
And did you know by asking that particular group of people that they would give you honest feedback as well?
That's the only kind of person I really hang out with. Like, if you're not the type of person that tells me that I screwed up, or if I do actually look fat in that dress or whatever, like, we can't hang, because that's actually not a genuine friendship. And the friendships I have are deeper, more intense, and we can go to the deep, dark, and ugly places. And we do that for each other. So like, hey, oh my God, something's wrong in my relationship. Oh, honey, it's you. You need to stop treating your husband like that, and then you won't get this result. Damn, like, I'm that friend. So that's the friends I have. Thank goodness. So yeah, I knew I'd be getting brutal feedback, and I got it. And thank goodness, because it made everything actually work.
Yeah. And at what point then, once you tested it with some friends, at what point then did you think, okay, the next part of my master plan is going to be this. I want to share it with a wider audience. Did you suffer from any kind of imposter syndrome? Did that kick in at all?
No. I do not generally suffer from imposter syndrome professionally. I've suffered from it probably more personally, like looking at some of my friends that maybe they've got 6-pack abs and I don't. And I'm like, I'm just not going to wear a 2-piece today. I don't do that anymore, but like I used to, or like my friends are like much more accomplished than me. And it's like, I haven't done enough. But like, yeah, professionally, like I didn't worry about my deserving or worthiness to do it, because I knew that it worked. And I know that I was given this wisdom for a reason. And, I don't know, I've become more spiritual over the years, not less. And I don't know, I believe that I was given this message as everything that I am as a person, as a marketer, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, as a very salty woman, as a very outspoken person. Like, it has been given to me in this little particular package, because I think people need practical stuff from a person they know is not going to BS them. A person that, I'm just going to tell you like it is. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to help you succeed, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, but I'll give you the truth. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Oh, 21 days. No, I want you to be successful. I'm going to tell you the truth, so.
And how do you go? Because as you just articulated a minute ago, so many books out there that people read and then not actually put any of it into action. So many of those books out there. What was your kind of strategy for that? Thinking that you obviously want to make a lasting impact, some kind of resonance with people. How did you intertwine that into the book, and how did you structure that within the book, and what kind of follows on from the book?
That's a really good question. I like that one a lot. Thank you for asking that.
Cool.
No, I think that a lot of people do, they pick up a book, and I've done this. You pick up a book, you've got the best of intentions, and then you just get disappointed, right? So the thing that takes an idea into life is action. So I wanted to, if you haven't read the book, I'm sure you'll read it at some point. And when you get to it, you'll see it's littered with lots of stories of just normal human stuff, normal human experiences that, number one, ground the ideas. So they're not these big lofty things. It's like, oh, well, one day I was on my yacht and I was just wondering, that's, most people can't relate to that. But you know what? I remember being really insecure on the school bus. Guess what? Most people can probably relate to that. So a lot of the stories are in there to, number one, give it a sense of relatability, just so you can really see how special you truly don't need to be to master these habits. These are everybody habits, not just me habits or, rich guy habits. They're everybody habits, right? But more than that, I also built in very practical instructions within the book, and everybody that gets a copy of the book, there's many, many invitations throughout the book to go and get all the free companion material that's all workbook stuff. So instead of just hearing about the words and the wisdom, I want you to apply it, because that's where the magic comes in. It's kind of like knowing a tomato is a fruit. The application of that wisdom is not sticking it in a fruit salad, right? So
I love it. That's brilliant.
True, right? Yeah. But the thing about all these habits is they're useless if I just tell you about them, and I can, but the magic is in the application. You can't just apply it once. You need to actually figure out why you acquired such the nasty side of the habit, right? Why you got to where you are now, because the habits you currently have built the life you're currently leading. And if you want to be leading a different life, then you need to have different habits to get you there. And so what I wanted to do is map out really clear instructions to give you, number one, self-awareness of where you are, give you clarity into where you would like to go, what happiness will look like for you, and then what to do about it so you can master these habits within 66, or if you're stubborn, 166, whatever. But it's all through repetition. So, application of the wisdom is everything. So the book is very practical. On the cover, it's the 6 habits, practical tools for bringing your dreams to life. And I'm even rethinking the subtitle, because I just don't want people to feel like it's fluffy, but I mean it very literally. Sometimes people just dream of being more confident. They don't dream of yachts and mansions. Maybe they just dream of liking who they are. Through these habits, you can have that dream. For me, my dream was to really feel good about myself and to live someplace that I love and have lots of time with sea turtles and bamboo and all kinds of neat things that really helped me to feel really grounded in nature and have a nice relationship with my family and visit the world. That was my dream. Mostly humble things, And I think that most people's dreams are actually quite humble. And that's the thing about all the mental habits. You have to apply them when it's weird and uncomfortable. So if I tell you habit number 1 is kindness to yourself, you have to do that. Most people are like, oh, kindness. Yeah, whatever. I've heard that before. And then they just stop listening to me. But if you really understand, no, they do. I know it. But if you really understand that, no, you're not kind to yourself, and it's your thoughts that are destructive. So when you go to make a sale or start up a business or ask for more money than you've ever asked for, it's your negative self-talk that you're not even aware of that's preventing you from reaching higher and doing bigger. But once you start to get aware of it, right, that's when you can actually start to do something differently and really take the action forward. So like, we can't take the things for granted or just be like, oh, they're so simple, whatever. I've heard these before. But like, we need to have like a habitual response to going after a sale, a habitual response to challenge or money. And we already have habitual responses now, but those are the ones that gave us the results we're getting. If we want different results, if you want to start pulling in double the income, you have to have a habitual response to challenge, money conversations, negotiations. You have to have different habitual responses, and that can be trained. So that's what I do.
And what would you say to somebody like me? Like when I did the 75 hard, and the thing I kept failing on was one of the habits was the vision. So spend 10 minutes every day envisioning your goals, your dreams, and all the other things like exercising twice a day, 45 minutes each time minimum. Going out in the pitch black of a British winter and running through the ice and the snow, and then doing another 45 minutes in the evening of walking or weights or something. I could do all that, but the vision part of it, literally just 10 minutes, I really struggle with, and I can't be the only person who struggles to actually.
Not at all.
Any tips on that for those who actually try and vision their dreams?
You didn't want to do it, so you didn't. That's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, like I can't make anybody want to do anything. And the thing about like the 6 habits is the book is there to give you the compelling reasons to do the work, to discover where you are, right? And then the workbooks are there to help you discover where you are, but also to give you the compelling reasons to want to do it. That's what was missing from your 75 hard. That sounds highly inappropriate. I'm just going to say it. Like, it just does. But like, but that's what was missing clearly is you were not given adequate reason to want to do it. So you didn't tell yourself to do it because you didn't see the value in it. And I'm kind of the same way. Like, I had a friend of mine who's a health coach. She's like, oh, you need to have 8 ounces of celery juice first thing in the morning every morning. I'm like, no. She's like, well, it's really good for you. I'm sure it is. I'm not doing it. Well, you should. I'm sure I should do a lot of things, honey. I'm not going to do it. I should probably put on SPF every time I leave the house. Don't do that. Like, I'm not exercising in the pitch black of the cold London. Nope. Like, you have to have a strong enough drive inside of you, inside, not external, not some program leader, not me, not anybody else telling you should do this. If that were the case, we would all floss and we would all have 6-pack abs. That is not the case. Like, we have to have the reason inside of us that's strong enough to do it. And I got to be honest with you, when I started doing this whole thing to research and do projects and like, well, what do happy people have in common and blah, blah, blah. And like, well, how do I do this? For me, this wasn't coming from a place of desire. This was coming from a place of rage. I was so pissed off that I was not leading the life that I thought I should be living that I finally got mad enough to do something about it. And here's the truth. I mean, I've been a salesperson for years, right? You put me in a room full of like dudes in suits, cool. I'll walk out with thousands of dollars. That's how I roll. And here's the truth, right, about sales. And anyone in the startup world really knows this, right? People buy for just 2 reasons. That's it. They're either running toward pleasure, which is 5% of the time, or they're running away from pain, which is 95% of the time. Even things like Mercedes and Rolexes and yachts. A lot of those things are purchased because you're running away from the pain of maybe not feeling good enough, maybe not feeling powerful enough, maybe not feeling like you've got enough status, right? But when we understand that, right? Maybe that's when we can use these tools and this wisdom to get good and pissed off enough so we can run away from the things that are making us mad. Like in my case, I was like, expletive. I wanted to finally get away from the hamster wheel. And it wasn't like, oh boy, I can't wait to run toward joy. Yay! Most people don't think that way. It's usually going to be some version of screw this. I can't take this anymore. Fine. Read the book with the screw this mentality. Hey, that's how I wrote it. It's all good. But like, whatever it is that helps you get from a place of like, I'm stuck or I'm just cruising or accepting the way my life is and into, whatever. That's what we need. That's why you didn't do the visualizing stuff, because you didn't have enough rage, perhaps, that made you believe that it was really going to get you there and give you the result you wanted.
Well, it's funny, like the example that he gave, which makes me laugh now, of, this is how you visualize. And he was like, so before I bought my private jet, I would visualize touching the leather and the gold, and that doesn't work for me because I don't want a private jet. I never wanted a private. I never wanted a private jet. It's not working. That's not incentivizing me to go and
not relatable.
No, exactly what you said about 45 minutes ago. I think with one of those, a previous comment.
Yeah, that's funny. No, you know what? It's like I read some of these books, like from some of these celebrities, and like, oh my God, we were sitting in our second summer home and just reflecting on our goals for the year. And we were in the middle of like 5 weeks off. It's just as a family, and it's like, no, honey, I don't.
No idea.
Like, love you, not relatable. You are on a whole different friggin' planet, okay? Yeah. I worked my buns off for years, and whenever I got time off, I was so used to working, I didn't even know what to do with it. Oh, and oh my God, the maid had the day off. I couldn't find the socks. Oh, can you imagine? Huh. No, like I am a self-made person, right? Like my dad was on disability. Like we lived on food stamps when I was a kid. Like, I became successful and I sold my soul to do it and I burnt myself out. Like, I feel like that's much more relatable than the feeling the leather in the jet. And, it's so hard to find good help these days.
Indeed. And you mentioned, I think you said is it the first chapter of your book, or one of the habits is being kind to yourself? Yes. I've seen this in the UK a lot. I don't know if you've seen this your side of things, but a huge movement towards wellness and health, and people actually trying to look after themselves a bit more during the pandemic. Have you seen that yourself? And if so, why do you think that is in these times?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people having like a bunch of different experiences with everything. I mean, the thing that I've experienced actually is people having a very polar reaction to this type of work right now. They're like, oh, well, the world is on fire. I can't think about this right now. Or the world is on fire. I have to think about this right now. Like, I'm not going to be able to get through if I don't. Like, I'll be perfectly honest with you. If I didn't have these 6 habits to get me through running 2 companies at the same time, my husband being unemployed, living on an island where the economy has died and people are being incredibly weird to each other. Nope. Like, it is because of these tools that I am not in like an institution somewhere and not in the hospital. Like, I don't think that people really regard a lot of these habits as really novel ideas, nor should they. But the fact that they're habits versus concepts, that's a big difference. And the fact that they're acquirable and masterable, I think that really makes, the biggest difference, that I've seen. When people take the time to learn about each of the habits, kindness is one of them. Habit number 2 is acceptance of yourself. That's very hard. Gratitude for everything in life, particularly the crappy stuff. Being present in all of your moments, particularly the hard ones. Having good energy into your life and repelling the toxic stuff, and having hard boundaries, and moving forward through your life with intention. None of these ideas or words seem really new or fancy. Right. Mm-hmm. And like someone telling you exercise every day, that's not new or fancy either. It's not. And they don't need to be. It's a matter of fact, the reason why they're so damn wonderful and effective is because they're not new and fancy. But how we regard them as the pillars of the life we most want to build, that's the game changer. When we realize that, these are not just lovely, vague ideas to aspire to, but, I can actually train my brain to do these things It's not going to be easy, but I can train my brain to do it. And it's not going to take 5 years. And I don't need to sit in like a hut in Guam somewhere and meditate for like 6 months. Like literally, I can just go about my regular everyday life and just change my thoughts over a period of less than 3 months. And then gonna I'm going to interact with my life differently, and including stuff like the pandemic. And when, there's yet another lockdown, I heard you guys are in lockdown again. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Like, you face those things differently. You show up and you experience it differently. And instead of like, oh my God, kill me, it becomes like, okay, well, it's happening. I am going to choose what is happening, even though I don't like it or agree with it. I'm going to choose this, and I'm going to choose to be home, and I'm going to work on myself, and I'm going to be present, and I'm going to opt into this stuff. And like, you just show up differently. I've experienced a lot of different reactions to this type of work.
I bet. Yeah.
And when people really look at it as, oh, I can actually do this, and I'm actually not that far away because I've already got proficiency with some of the habits now, because we all do. It starts to feel less tangible. Like the whole celery juice thing, that's like an on or off binary. You do it or you don't. But these habits, these are things where, like, rate yourself 1 to 10. You're not going to be a 0 in any of them. Nobody is. You would have killed yourself already, right? Like,
yeah.
Right? It's like, it takes time, but you can, like, even though I've mastered each of these habits, I don't live at a 10 every day. I'm hovering between 8 and 10 every day. To me, that's mastery. It's like I default back to these. I have hard things show up, like, like my husband and I are moving to Jacksonville, Florida. That's a pivot I wasn't expecting, but we have our reasons. The economy is really vibrant there. My husband really wants to work. I'll be back on the East Coast so I can serve my clients better. And they still have beaches. So it's trading one dream for another. But, even getting through that kind of thing of leaving Maui that I love more than anything, I could be in the state of devastation that I felt when we first made the decision, because it's a death. I'm grieving that. I could stay there, but having all of these tools available to me just kept the grieving really short, very, very intense, but very short. And it was just like, oh, okay, well, I can choose this now, and I can make these pivots, and okay, I'm good. And I can handle it. Oh, and let me tell you, running 2 companies in the middle of a pandemic with cancer, with my husband unemployed, and deciding to move pets and home and everything else and buy a home sight unseen over FaceTime. Let me talk to you about stress. I'm okay. Okay.
And you mentioned before, people are either running from something or running to something. Where do you feel you are at the moment, having just shared that story with us about having to move from Maui to Jacksonville?
It began as running from, and now I've shifted it to running to. I don't like the way things are here. Anymore. The pandemic has changed the culture of this island quite a bit, actually, of all the islands. Hawaii is the most restricted state. And there are some things happening that I just don't agree with. And I firmly, passionately hold true to my beliefs that happiness is really important. And it's actually your amount of stress and your amount of happiness actually play an integral role to your immunity and your well-being. So this is me making a powerful choice to put my money where my mouth is and really powerfully stand behind my beliefs. So that's me choosing it. And I'm actually excited. I'm buying my dream home. I'm really excited. Over FaceTime.
Over FaceTime. Yeah, but that's cool. That is cool. That's something to look forward to. Yeah. And when
I
you're
get to
doing
have
that,
my parents move down with me, this is part of the dream. It's like it's trading one dream for another. Like, my dream was always to be here, but my mom is 77, my dad is 75. Their health is really not amazing. They're not like young 77 and 75. They're kind of like, their bodies are starting to get a little creaky and groany and falling apart. And I've always wanted to be able to buy them a home that we can all live in, and I can cook my mom breakfast in the morning and sit in our little fuzzy bathrobes and have tea and, just spend time with my dad. This is really cute. I'm not going to put this on too many shows, but I'll say this. My dad, ever since I was born, has been calling me Love Bug. And I'm really excited to be able to see my dad shuffling around in his crappy jeans and be like, "Hi, Bug, how you doing?" You know,
Oh,
I like that. And I'm really excited to be able to take care of them, give them a beautiful home, and take a lot of stress off their plate and just have those last years with them. So,
yeah.
it'll be nice. Lots of warm and fuzzy.
Indeed, and look, we wish you well. When is that happening in the new year?
Yes, I hop on a plane January 1st. Aloha.
Wow, boom,
Yeah. Yeah.
literally.
Yeah. Life is a roller coaster, my friend, and you can hang on or you can be like, wee.
Yeah, embrace
It
it.
depends because you're going to be on it either way.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love it. Listen, I think that's a great place to leave it. I know you've got to shoot off as well. A question to round up is going to be, people are asking, you can see Michael there, can I ask where to access it? What's the best place people can find out more about what we've been talking about today, connect with you, all of those things? What's the best place? Boom, the 6
So if
habits.
you go to the6habits.com, it's the SIX habits.com. You can take a free quiz. And if you think you're really happy, or maybe you suspect you're on the hamster wheel of chasing highs, you can find out for free. I've got a quiz on there and my book, The 6 Habits. Start there. Just start with the book. If you want to read it, you can get it on Amazon. It's available worldwide on Amazon. And email me, find me on Instagram, but take the quiz. You'll really you'll be surprised.
Awesome. Well, look, really enjoyed listening to that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and listening along with us and watching as well. Join us again tomorrow here at the Festival of Startups. We've got a whole bunch of talks lined up for you tomorrow throughout the day. And again, Thursday and Friday as well. So, Laura, thank you very much indeed. To exit the virtual stage, there is an exit button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You just need to hit that and you'll be transported from the stage to another place.
It's like a portal. Wow. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll be in touch. Take care now. Bye-bye.